to the left.
Hey, how y'all doing today? I'm Tedrick Colson, class of 2005. I'm a personal trainer. I own a gym. I got one of the fastest growing online programs in the world right now. I walk through these halls just like y'all, so I'm just letting y'all know, hey, when you get out here, it is real. It is real, it's not a game. So make sure y'all stay on y'all stuff, all right?
How y'all doing? Justin Williams, class of 08. I went to Stone Mountain. I drove a lot of these people crazy. Katrina been my dog since, third grade, I think. We've been rocking since Stone Mountain Elementary. Coach Montero, I think I was one of her first students when she came here. Drove her crazy. I got a long story for y'all, but I can't wait to talk to y'all, and I'm excited for what y'all about to do after y'all leave here, and I'm glad to be here. Yeah, I'm in the music industry. I do a lot of rapping stuff.
My name is Dominic Edwards, class of 04. I walk these hallways, probably tore them up too. But now, I'm Young Sin's manager, working with Young Sin, ever heard of Young Sin. So I got a lot of stories to tell y'all. If y'all ever need some help, anything like that, we can go over a lot of things together.
My name is Desmond Hardy, class of 98, so I'm super old. And so a little bit of background, me and Coach Williams played on the football team together. He was a freshman my senior year of high school, so I didn't know him that well back then, but I know him a whole lot better now. And just like everybody else said, walked these halls, didn't get into much trouble because I tried to stay on the straight and narrow, and also I was scared of my mom putting her foot in my behind. But as far as what I do now, I work as an enterprise sales rep for Amazon Web Services.
Hi everyone, I am Tanisha Williams. I am Coach's wife. Do they know the story? I've known Coach Williams since I was in the 3rd grade at Donaire Elementary. He was my boyfriend 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Yes, he was. Yeah, and then I moved. I stayed on Hambridge. We stayed over there. I'm always Stone Mountain too, y'all. I'm all Stone Mountain. Yes. Stayed over there, then I moved over here to the colony. So I grew up on Central. I'm class of 01 by class of 03. I was really a delinquent when I was younger. Yeah, I was, but I improved. As of now, I am a business manager at an architecture firm. And I do a swim of things. I'm basically a Swiss Army knife. I deal with that one and everything, so that's me.
All right. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all can talk to me a little bit. Y'all all right? Y'all good? All right, my name is Curtis McCullough. I'm class of 07. All right, God bless you. Thank you. All right. Marched in the band here. Went to Stone Mountain Middle as well. I even got kicked out of school before. So that's so surprising that I'm back up here, by the way. I'm a business owner. I'm also a stand-up comedian. I'm on tour right now, so I came by here to be right here for a few moments, and I'm back on a plane. But other than that, I'm just happy to be here. Y'all good though? All right then.
Okay, let's give a round of applause to our panelists. All right, I got a few questions that I've written down. I've been thinking about this for a couple days. We do have one more guest that is coming in, but I've been thinking about this for a couple days just because I've known who's going to be up here. And one of the things I thought about is, what are some of the things that I want these guys to impart in you guys as students? What are some tidbits, some advice and things that they can leave you with? Also, what are some things about their experience at our school, Stone Mountain, that they can kind of share with you that sort of molded them into the person that they are today. So my first question, as we wait on the second or the last person rather, and we'll introduce them when they come in, but we'll go ahead and start the question part for time's sake. But the first question is, what is your current position, and how did SMHS prepare you for that position, if at all? You know, did Stone Mountain prepare you for any part of your job that you do now, or did it not? You know, if it did, could you share? If not, can you just kind of share that it didn't, and we can go on from there. So we'll open the floor to whoever wants to answer first. Again, the question is, what is your current position? A lot of y'all shared your professions, so you don't really have to use that part of the question, but the main part is, how did SMHS prepare you for that position, if it did at all?
Stone Mountain to this day is very important. Like, most of us from our classes, we kind of keep tight. Like, we probably more excited about y'all homecoming than y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. We trying to plan an after party, do all this stuff for the old folks to get together. But as far as these hallways and what it did for my job, it changed everything. I don't know if y'all familiar with 21 Savage, but I knew 21 when I went here. I was 15, and the first time I ever met him, I got into a fight on Central Drive at 15. So everybody used to meet on Central Drive, and I was young, and I got into a little scrap. And come to find out, dude that was with the dude I was beefing with, it was some little dudes with him, and the little dude with him, one of them was 21. At that time, they called him Lil Man. So I met him at that time, but I didn't know him that well, and through time, mutual people that went to my school kind of grew up around him, and, you know, being my age, I was a little older than him. Come full circle when he decided to rap, those same people who I kind of walked the hallway with that had a relationship with him ended up putting us together, and then boom, we kind of built what we built now. And that kind of came from me walking these hallways, I'm not gonna lie, and kind of getting into a little trouble and learning some lessons along the way. And Coach Montero is somebody who I've been keeping in good contact with since when I went here. From now, obviously Katrina always keeps me connected. Just having that connection with her helps me do a lot of things with the community. So these hallways and the people when you look left and right, a lot of these people is gonna be in your life for a long time. And there's a lot of people that you don't talk to at all, that you probably don't notice in your class, that you're gonna probably be best friends with in 10 years. Seriously, you know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all gonna grow up to really lean on each other and need each other. You got doctors here, you're gonna have lawyers here, you're gonna have entertainment managers here, you're gonna have so many people that you can call from your left and your right. So, I mean, this might not mean much to y'all now, but in about 5-6 years, you're gonna be like, damn, some dude on stage said, you know, shoot, we was gonna be cool, you know, and y'all gonna grow from there. So that's what I say. What up, bro? I don't know, anybody else got something to say?
Stone Mountain influenced a lot of my life. So yeah, like I said, I've been knowing some of the guys I've known some of the guys all my life, and some of the guys I met later on in life, and we still put in a relationship because of the connection of Stone Mountain High School. You know, my community, you know what I'm saying? And me just staying connected to my school, connected to my community, because to this day I still walk these same streets. You know what I'm saying? If you ever see me riding around, you know it's me, and I can be watching y'all, make sure y'all doing what y'all supposed to be doing out here too. You know what I'm saying? But it also helped me, like, you know what I mean, my correlation with the person I work with, Young Sin, you know what I mean, helped me communicate with him as well, you know, because he knows that my background, we come from the same hallway, we came from the same streets, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, Stone has been a big influence in my life, you know what I mean? So take something from it as well.
By show of hands, how many of y'all have had to be in group projects with people y'all don't know? Okay, put your hands down. By show of hands, how many people are on a sports team at the school?
Sports team.
Sports team. Okay, cool. So it looks like by the show of hands right here, all of y'all have had to at least at one point or another work with people that you don't necessarily know, but you have to work together for a common goal. So I think more than anything, more than a particular subject matter, that's what's going to be most important for your life as an adult. Because what I can say is, from my experience working in corporate America, for everything that you do that you're gonna be successful at, for everything you do that you can get paid at, especially the things that corporations deem most valuable, you're going to have to work with a group of people that you don't always know, and you're also going to have to work with a group of people who may or may not know more than you, but you have to put your pride and your ego aside in order to get the work done. What do I mean by that? So I work with people who, on a daily basis, they forgot more about development and computer science and math than I could ever remember. However, as a sales professional, I have to engage with them to be able to get the work done for our customers. And doing that well gives me my check. What do I mean by give me my check? So if I close a deal, one of the largest deals I've ever closed, I was maybe 28 years old, and it was for like $300,000. That got me a check for $110,000. So I couldn't do that by myself. I had to work with multiple people in order to do that. So think about for yourself, what would be the largest check that you could ever possibly imagine for yourself? The only way that you can get there, not saying it's the only way, but the most reliable way to get there is not by yourself, but with other people. So for example, if I ask everybody on this panel, did you get to your level of success by yourself? You're gonna say no. How many people do y'all have to work with, right? And a lot of times you're gonna work with people that you don't necessarily like. You're gonna work with people who have backgrounds that are different than you. And then a lot of times you're gonna work with people, you may not necessarily share the same values, but you have to put those things aside in order to accomplish your goals. So if anything, I would say learning how to work with other people well is gonna be your most valuable asset.
All right. How many of y'all be joking on people? Raise your hands high. Who be roasting? What y'all call it now? Is it joning? Roasting? Yeah, I'm about to. Well, listen, I wasn't always the pretty fella that y'all see before you now. So a lot of people used to joke on me. So I had to be fast with the jokes. Come to find out, I'm very successful at telling jokes now. That's one thing. Another thing, how many of y'all are actually in band, orchestra, chorus, whatever the case may be? Shout out to all 5 of y'all in here. Listen. Band and everything prepared me just how to move, right? Because a lot of people don't understand that when you tour, touring is hard. Y'all see the people get on the bus and y'all see all that good stuff. It get tiring, y'all. So at the end of the day, band prepared me to tour. People joking on me prepared me to success. And then on a more serious note, I'm a truck driver as well as a truck and business owner as well. What that did was the school just prepared me to just focus on getting up out of here, y'all. Because at the end of the day, you just don't want to be stuck, right? Talk to me, you don't want to be stuck, right? So school allowed me to focus, allowed me to prepare and build. So that's what it did for me.
All right, we did have one special guest that showed up in the midst of our first question. Do want to give him the microphone and give him a chance to introduce himself, because it's somebody you probably want to know, all right?
What's up, everybody? I go by the name Boot Man Shouty. I'm part of the group FLY. We made the song Swag Surfing. I went to Stone Mountain High, graduated in 06. I would walk in the halls with Measy, Ted, Miss Jarrell. So yeah.
All right, so our next question, I got a few questions. Like I said, we may or may not get all of it. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna show y'all how Stone Mountain really helped me. Like I said, I graduated in 2005. I played all sports all 4 years. I was the captain all 4 years, basketball, football, baseball. I kind of wish I got a chance to play JV, but I did. But this really just helped me in my fitness journey. I always been working out my whole life and playing ball. And once I finished playing ball, everybody wanted to start training with me. And like I said, I've been the captain all my life. So once I opened up a gym, it was kind of easy to just leave. So that's the way I say that Stone Mountain helped me out.
All right. Awesome. All right. So the next question, I thought about this one because when I think of Stone Mountain, there's a lot of things that make me proud. One of my favorite football coaches is Nick Saban. He's the coach at Alabama, and he says, you know, you should take pride in the place you go to school in because there's no other place on the planet like it. So that alone, the fact that it's one of one, is enough to be proud of. At our school, we've had a lot of success stories in the music industry, in sports, in law, in medical field, education field. So that would be one of the things that makes me most proud to be a pirate, okay? So my next question is, what aspect of Stone Mountain High School are you most proud of or most proud about? That's my next question.
What I'm most proud about is exactly what you just said, like the amount of connections that I built just coming to school every day. Like I said, a lot of these people on this stage helped me out along my journey. Even like how y'all was saying earlier, learning how to network, learning how to talk to folks, learning how to respect folks. So the thing I'm most proud of is all the connections that I built just going to school every day.
That thing up for my guy, man. I'm gonna say just really communicate. Like growing up, it might be funny, y'all might laugh, but I got through here and got halfway through college without knowing how to read. And it's funny, but I got a couple mil now though. You feel me? So it's still ways around. You feel me? So with that being said, like a lot of times I was trying to get around a lot of stuff. A lot of y'all been in here and y'all know when they call popcorn. You call popcorn. I don't know if y'all still play that game. Y'all still play that game? Yeah, when somebody they gonna pick on you. You join everybody, but they gonna pick you to read though. I went through that so much, you feel me? But I end up, you know what I'm saying, getting together, it just showed me a lot. I started making other ways because I couldn't read. So it just made my common sense stronger. And by the time I got to college, I had it figured out. So that's the way Stone Mountain helped me out.
Okay.
Stone Mountain helped me out. I don't know how the younger, how y'all gonna be, but I really want y'all to stick together. Like, I just love being from here because I think we the only high school, literally. I'm almost thinking it's crazy because I'll be talking to other people, but we keep up with each other. I know folks from people I ain't go to high school with. If you went to Stone Mountain, we connect like 100%. I can call, if you graduate from Stone Mountain, in some form or fashion, we always end up tied together. We always end up connecting. We gonna do anything and everything together at any time. It ain't no, oh, I'm tired of them. I went to school, I don't want to see them no more. Y'all might feel like that right now because y'all in it, but y'all gonna appreciate the people around you, and I feel like that's one thing that Stone Mountain got that I see a lot of other schools don't necessarily have, and that's just like the alumni is really tight, you know what I'm saying? And if anybody from Stone Mountain I find out, I make sure I embrace it in any form of fashion possible. That's very important to me, and that's something that I learned, from here, and I learned that from these guys. Like, I was a young dude when they was the hallways, and shit, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, when we was young, Stone Mountain, it wasn't, I don't know, Stone Mountain different than what it was when I was young. We wanted it to be something that, it wasn't, but these dudes made it like cool. They was the cool older dudes. Like, so that's how we was just trying to get it in. Now y'all done did some whole other stuff, man. Y'all some little OGs out here now, but back in the day it wasn't like that. But I ain't gonna lie, we kept it tight, and that's what I really love about being here. I wouldn't replace, no other school is better than this, and I done been to a lot of different places. And they done kicked me out of here, and I had to go to another school, so I can tell you, ain't no place like Stone Mountain.
Okay, again, so what aspect of Stone Mountain are you most proud of or proud about? That's the question.
Family. I'm gonna say family because I'm not originally from here. I'm from Ohio, and I came when I was 11 years old. Just me and my mom, you know what I mean, and nobody. And Stone Mountain really embraced me from the middle school to the high school. Even though I probably got into a little trouble, but still, and people I've built relationships with to this day is from Stone Mountain. I don't really hang too many people outside of Stone Mountain. You know what I mean? So Stone Mountain gave me a family. somewhere I can call home. You know what I mean? Like no matter what, no matter where I go in the country, no matter where I go in the States, I'm always gonna come back to Stone Mountain. You know what I mean?
Something I can say that I'm proud about is the fact that the black and brown children who started coming here in the early 90s immediately changed the culture of the school and the city. And what I mean by that is, before the 90s, this school was known as not the Pirates, but the Confederates. What? Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Like, the entire culture of this high school was completely different. And once black folks and Hispanic folks and Vietnamese folks and Ethiopian folks started moving here, we immediately changed the culture of the school. What do I mean by that? Success lives here. So how many people heard of India Arie? She went to school here. How many people heard of Swiss Beats? He went to school here. As a matter of fact, I was here when Swiss Beats did his first set during our pep rally. So to be a kid and grow up and go to high school and college and start seeing Swiss Beats make hits for the Rough Riders and see Swiss Beats make hits for Jay-Z, it's like, wow, I'm seeing greatness be played over and over and over again. And what that did for me is let me know if he can be great, then I can too. And on this stage right here, you're looking at a continuation of 20 plus years of greatness being replayed over and over and over again. And now you all are a part of that. So I'm excited to see what y'all are gonna do.
Guess I need to say something. Repeat the question for me.
Okay, so basically we're talking what aspect of Stone Mountain are you most proud of or proud about? What aspect of the school?
I would say it produces a lot of successful people. It does. Our stock is just compared to all the other schools, just like in DeKalb County alone, we have a lot of successful people that come out of Stone Mountain High School, like a lot. It's to the point now where I don't even really have to go to the doctor. Like I know nurse practitioners, I know doctors, I know eye doctors, lawyers. I'm a paralegal myself. It's just on and on. And Stone Mountain is awesome for that. It is. They have a lot of successful people come out of here. Y'all need to network for folks. I will say this too. I don't know if y'all still call people lame and stuff like that. They still use that word, like folks lame? Okay, let me tell you something. Be friends with them lames. Whoever y'all calling lames, be friends with them lames. I was in the popular crowd when I was in school, but I always made sure I had a friend in every group. That's how you network. And even now to this day, them folks that's the doctors, the eye doctors, the nurse practitioners and stuff, those was them lames. And they always say, you know what, Tanisha, you was so nice to me. And the coolest, and they will remember you, and you never know. Like they said, the world goes around, and how you treat folks, it'll always come back. You don't know who you're gonna see again later on in life. So just be nice to them folks. Okay?
She ain't lying. But I was one of them lames, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you, but now them folk working for me. But on the real, what I do like about Stone Mountain, aside from it, is the unity, man, and the support. Like, it's nothing to go somewhere or be on a show and then you just see a whole bunch of Stone Mountain people. Or even if it's just one or two, it's like, bro, I went to Stone Mountain. It's like, wow. Or you just reach out to folk, hey, I got this going on. Stone Mountain people gonna show up for whatever reason. For whatever reason. But yeah, that's why I love Stone Mountain, man.
All right. One of the things that you realize as you get older is that a lot of things you don't really get a repeat of. When I had first period today, one of the things we talked about was the average life expectancy of an American is about 78 years old. You're considered grown when you're about 18. So that's 60 years that you have to be grown as opposed to the 18 that you have to be a youngin', okay? As you start to grow up, you start thinking about your process and you may have some regrets. Two things that I can say I regret being a student here is I didn't do the long jump for the track team, okay? All right, and I didn't shoot my shot at my wife in high school like I probably should have. So, you know, I made up for one of them, but that other one, that long jump, you know, I'll just have to coach a few people. But my question is for you guys, is there any regrets that you had once you left here? Was there anything that you thought back on and said, man, I should have did this when I was here. I wasted this time and I had all this time to do this, but instead I didn't, and now I wish I did. So the question is, do you have any regrets from your time here at Stone Mountain?
I skipped a lot. That was probably my thing. Any of y'all skip now? Lift your hands high.
Oh yeah, we got a few ones in here, I know for sure.
Ain't no reason to lie.
I'm gonna start telling on a few of y'all.
Now, but on the real, I messed up a lot during my freshman year, so much so I did have to go to open campus. Some of y'all know about open campus. If not, some of y'all gonna find out. Let's just be real. But if I just would have went to class, I could have at least got some C's my freshman year. So other than that, my thing is I just wish I didn't skip as much. And some of these teachers that know me, I skipped a lot. So just go to school, go to class, all right? Don't skip. Let me see the skippers one more time. Lift your hands. They snitching in the back, whoever that is over there. But no, I just wish I didn't skip as much. That's all.
Okay, anybody else want to share any of their regrets that they may have had when they were attending Stone
My
Mountain?
main regret is I should have listened to a lot of my teachers and a lot of my principals too. Well, I ain't have one for Mr. Simpson, but I should listen to them because a lot of things I used to say that's like, you know, the teacher tell you things like, man, them folks, they don't know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They know what they're talking about. Listen, I'm telling you, like, listen, man, the way I was walking in life at that time, when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, a lot of things they was telling that was gonna happen, happened. I went to the juvenile facility. I ended up going to prison. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that they try to avoid, because I was actually the smart guy that you see I'm up here for a reason. You know, I ain't too dumb, you know what I'm saying? I just made dumb decisions. You know what I'm saying? So listen to what they tell you sometimes, because what you don't know, they do know what they're talking about. But they've seen it. They friends went through it, they homeboys went through it, their cousins went through it. I'm pretty sure all y'all know somebody here, somebody been in prison, incarcerated right now, or on the way to get incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? So listen to these folks and don't be so naive and think you know everything. You know what I mean?
My biggest regret is that I actually never graduated at all. I did not graduate. Yeah, real talk. Look, Mr. Tarver, I don't think he here no more, but Mr. Tarver, go ahead. He went ahead and packed me up. He packed me up. I was bad. So I was in the wrong homeroom every year. So I got here in 9th grade, slacked off. So 10th grade, I'm in the 9th grade homeroom. 10th grade, you know what I'm saying? 11th grade, I'm in the 10th grade homeroom. So I'm going to summer school every year. You know what I'm saying? Get kicked out of here, they send me to Clarkston. I missed too many days of school, so they kicked me out right when I caught up on all my homerooms. That was very discouraging because I worked off to really try to graduate. I really did get it together. Once I get kicked out of school and they tried to send me to alternative school, I gave up. And that was the one thing that I kind of regret because I'm really thinking back now, I'm a parent, my son is 9. It's like, bro, like, you have a child, you wake up in the morning, you take him to the bus stop. You do that every day. Imagine every day for 16, 17 years, somebody wake up to feed you, spend money on you, make sure you do this, and one day you just like, forget that, I'm straight. That's the most disrespectful thing you could do if you say you love your parents or anybody who care about you. And that's the one thing to this day that I'm like, I really could have locked down and just did that. I could have clowned him. I could have I was a class clown. You know what I'm saying? I could have did that, but I could have executed. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for the people that built the village to even get you here or whoever it is to make sure you get here every day. If it's the teacher that's checking on you, if it's your neighbor, anybody, bro. If you don't care about it, cool. You know, I'm not gonna lie, like I was 16, 17, cared about it. But if I cared about my mom or anybody who got me there, I would have executed it. So think about other people besides yourself in them situations, man. Knock this stuff out, because I got a lot of stuff under my belt that I've accomplished, but I do not have a high school diploma. I ended up going to get my GED. I went to college for a little while, you know. It's never too late. But at the end of the day, man, don't waste that time. You here, do what you need to do, figure it out. Don't just give up. Don't do that, please. That break your mama heart. Your mama woke up 16, 17 years for you to just, oh, it's over with. That's a dream. Like, your mom want to see you go to prom. Your mom want to see you walk that stage. My mom never got to see me wear no cap and gown. It'll never happen again. I can fake do it. I could be 32 years old and walk, but it ain't hitting the same. You feel me? So that's what I say, bro. Real talk. Do it for the people that love you. No jokes. That's the most important thing I say.
What I've learned, what I regret not doing is like locking in with my education. As a youngster, I just was always good at sports, so a lot of it was catered to that side. Like, if you good, like growing up, my mom, you gotta see shit, you can play. I don't care what you got right now, but as I got older, it's things that, like, only thing I ever failed in life was computer. And right now, I'm in a position where I can make $1 million a year just by online. But if I knew a little more about computer, now I'm hiring people to do stuff that I failed at. So that's one of the things that I regret, you know what I'm saying, not locking in on my education, and that's about it, for real.
All right, anybody else got any other regrets or anything you want to share?
Okay. What I regret, to piggyback off what they were saying, I regret not focusing in school, for sure. And I regret some of the friends that I had while I was in school here at Stone Mountain. Choose friends wisely, because it was a gang. I grew up on Central, and all the females that I hung with on Central, I don't associate with any of them anymore. So I would say that was one of the main things that I regret when I was here at Stone Mountain, is the friendships that I made. I should have been in different circles. I should have focused more on my education and school activities. I thought everything that was associated with high school or with Stone Mountain was lame. Going to a basketball game, I'm not going to that, that's lame. Going to football, I don't care about that. Track, all that, and I was running. I should have ran track, I regret that. I was fast, I should have ran track. What else? Volleyball, I should have did that. There's a lot of stuff that I should have did that I won't have the opportunity to do again. I was up at the Texaco being an idiot. And I should have been at school. So I regret that a lot.
All right, we're gonna get more into the career stuff again. When I was a new teacher, I started teaching in 2006, and one of the things that they told us when I went to my first new teacher orientation is you are training kids to do jobs that don't even exist today. That's what they told me, and I'll never forget that. It stuck with me, because I'm sitting in there as a new teacher like, well, what jobs don't exist today that we're about to just start creating? And had no idea, okay? But of course now in my 17th year teaching, I understand what jobs they were talking about. You know, the Ubers, the Airbnbs, stuff like that have been created over time that they were trying to prepare for back 20 years ago. So my question to you guys is this: while at Stone Mountain, did you know that your career even existed? Did you know that what you do for a living was something that you could get into as you walk these halls? Did you ever consider it?
I can say no. I wanted to be an electrical engineer coming up, and then I changed my mind and decided I wanted to be a psychologist. And between graduating college and working in the real world for several years, I got into sales and corporate sales and started making a lot of money, and didn't realize that there was a whole entire world of working in the cloud industry and the tech industry, specifically like the Facebooks, Amazons, Googles, Apple, and understanding the type of economic impact that you can have for your family. What do I mean by that? So back when I was playing football and thought I was gonna go to the league like everybody think they're gonna go to the league, you know, I used to get invited by former teachers to come back and talk to this classes. And every time I go to the schools, they would ask me, are you gonna go to the NFL? Are you gonna get drafted? And this, that. And it was like, it got to a point where it went from being cute to being like frustrating for me. And the reason it was frustrating is because when you become an adult, you understand like the mechanics of the competition. And what I mean by that is, across the country right now, there are about 13,000 kids playing on high school football teams that think they're gonna go to the league. But how many football teams are there in the National Football League? 32, right? So all 13,000 kids are gonna play for them 32 teams, right? Because them 32 teams only have an active roster of 53 men. And you ain't replacing all those dudes every year. So on average, you're gonna have about 100 or 200 new players coming into the league. So out of 13,000 people every year, only 200 are gonna make it. And if that 200 is gonna make it, what's the average career of somebody in the NFL? 2.3 years. So you got 13,000 kids every year competing to be in the league for 2 years. And I don't know if anybody knows, but the minimum salary in the NFL is about $350,000. So $350,000 times 2 is what? 700,000. Is that enough to take care of you for the rest of your life? No. But on the other hand, no. Not unless you're living off Spam and living in a cardboard box. But on the other hand, there are companies right now like Facebook and Google who are hiring for cloud engineers and solution architects that are paying $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a year. This ain't fake money, this is real money. How long can you be in those positions? Your knees ain't gonna give out, your back ain't gonna give out, you can still do that job. Would you rather work for these companies where you can make this kind of money, real money, or be among that 13,000 and compete for those 200 jobs? What makes more sense? I want y'all to really think about that, because these kind of opportunities are out there, and rather than trying to go where everybody else is trying to go, and it don't necessarily mean you got to work as a technical solutions architect. Some of y'all might end up being content creators on YouTube. Y'all might be content creators on TikTok. Y'all may do a ton of other things, but y'all got to start thinking about what that plan looks like now. That's all I'm saying.
Well, on one part, I own an expedite company. Never thought I'd be in trucking a day in my life. I mean, you don't think about it like that. No, you get one truck, then you get two, then before you know it, you got 10 of them. Short story, I don't know what else to tell you. But then also on the social media side, yes. Hey, brother, the IRS and everything, brother, we ain't got time for that. Brother, we ain't got time for that. You said each per year.
How much your truck make?
Each truck probably ranges to about 200 to 300 right now. Thousand to yeah, but you know, kind of. It's about $1 million to, you know, probably 4. I don't know. Let me stop. But I just don't. Me personally, I don't like to talk about money too much. That's just my thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just not my thing, because I'm kind of in it for the. I just like making stuff work. You got anybody like that out here? You just like seeing something flow, seeing something work. But and on the social content side, social media wasn't around when me and these guys was in high school. So to be on social media now and see checks from social media is crazy to me. Cause I get on social media and just act a plum fool, and them checks come every week. Commercials, advertisements, endorsements, sponsorships. So no, I wasn't prepared for social media at all. Social media kind of just came my way, and it just kept working for me. And now I'm touring off of social media. The trucks run themselves. But I'm on tour because of social media, so no, I wasn't prepared for it at all. It just happened.
Yes. Me personally, I didn't know like what I do now as far as being a manager. I didn't know that, but this music stuff, I know a lot of y'all, everybody in here, even if you can't rap, I wouldn't be surprised if most of y'all on stage done made a rap song at least once, or wrote a rap, or even rap by yourself if you didn't go to the studio. So anybody in high school knew, like when I was in high school, I was a rapper. Like we had, you know, like a local little buzz and stuff. All the high schools were listening to us. So I was rapping, and then I used to sell mixtapes. Well, back in the day, kids, they had this thing called a CD burner. Your favorite songs and put on the CD. So I used to come to school, and I used to have all like the latest stuff from all the dudes from the different high schools, and I was selling junk for like $4 a piece. So I was making about like $100 a day. I ain't gonna lie. So I was selling mixtapes and I was rapping. Then I started throwing parties, so I could throw the parties when I got like 18 and 19. I was throwing parties because everybody knew me off the face of rapping. And then because I was throwing all the parties, I knew all the rappers because all the rappers had to come to me. So then I stopped rapping, just started throwing parties. Then all the rappers I was building relationships with, throwing them parties through the music that I was doing in high school, they started asking me to manage them. So within this space, I always knew it was something. I thought I was gonna be a rapper, but it ended up being something else different. And for a lot of y'all in music, and just in anything, even if you like sports or something, like he was saying, everybody can't be a football player, but look into who's around the team. If you notice, every successful person has a team. So when you into music, figure out how to make beats, figure out how to engineer and record your homeboy who wants to rap, figure out how to manage, figure out publishing. It's a whole bunch of different things you could do and be within that space of the world that you love. And that's not just music, that's with sports, that's with, he has a management team, he has people that run his stuff. Ted has people that run his stuff. So whatever it is that you're into, even if you feel like you can't do that specific thing, it's always something within that world, you know what I'm saying, that you can do. So just pay attention and it'll fall in place if you just make sure you stay in pocket of what you love, honestly.
All right, we're gonna ask a few more, and then I did want to kind of give some students an opportunity. No, okay. For time's sake, we're just gonna do our two questions that we got left. I got a bunch of them, but I'm just picking some of my better ones that I think will invoke some good discussion. One that I really wanted to make sure I got, because I do have a lot of you up here that are in the music industry, in the entertainment industry. We talk about student behavior as teachers sometimes, and a lot of the things that we look at as far as why are kids fighting so much, why are kids doing, we look at the music, okay? So, and then I think about that when we look at the music, I look at what we were listening to growing up, and I don't know if it was any better, but I don't think there were certain things that we took literal from the songs, and I don't know if this generation's doing it the same way we were. My question to you guys was, what music groups were you into in school, and how much did the music influence your behavior in school?
Well, I'm a prehistoric guy myself, you know what I mean? But when I was in high school, I'm gonna go high school, not middle school or high school. When I was in high school, I thought 3 6 Mafia was the biggest thing in the world. DJ Paul was the best rapper, and I will fight you about that. You know what I'm saying? But now, and on the flip, not right now, Young Sin, the best guy I know. But on the flip side of everything, though, I actually was one of them kids that the music did influence a lot of my life. You know what I mean? Like, the things I got in trouble for, the things I even did, even down to how I treat my mother, you know what I'm saying, was a lot of music. Now I look back as me being 37 years old, you know what I mean? I look back now, I can see the music I listened to was one of the reasons I did certain things. You know what I mean? Not saying it controlled me, but you are what you eat. You know what I'm saying? What you put in, what you give out. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm telling y'all is, this is all entertainment. Trust me, I'm around some of these rappers, and they're not doing the things they're talking about. They're at home making meals, being fathers, being community activists. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they trust me. It's only entertainment. Don't get caught up in the rap, because you're gonna go to prison and they're gonna be able to make money. You know what I mean? You can be buying this stuff while you're in prison, still getting money. You know what I'm saying? So don't be caught up in the hype. You know what I mean? It's only entertainment. It's only entertainment. Trust me.
All right, anybody else want to share? Thank you. 05, 06, 07, 08, and even 09, we listened to the radio, like we had our crime mob and stuff, but that was a rare time where we didn't listen to the radio. Every high school had a rap group, so like every club you went to, like you had Towers, had they folks, we had our folks, so we always listening to each other, but it was crunk music, so at that time, it was really fight music. Everybody was on that like real hype stuff. You go to the club, you either, two things. You gonna jump around about 45 minutes, get into a little fight, then they're gonna play some DSGB or some Yin Yang Twins, and you're gonna get twerked. You're gonna get twerked, you lean back on that wall, you're gonna get twerked for another little 30 minutes, then they're gonna go back and play some junk, and then folks gonna fight again. That's how it used to be, you know what I'm saying? So music did have a big influence on how we did stuff. I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, it was more a fight back then. I mean, we fought. Now, I guess with the music, maybe y'all, it's next level, folks are spinning, you know what I'm saying? So I will say that the music, I feel like, will always have an effect on you. You just gotta have, you just gotta have a healthy balance and just good people around you, I guess. I don't know, I just feel like you can't blame everything on the music.
And I agree with Beezy too. The music did have a big influence on what we was doing until you saw something real happen. I remember like we used to get into big fights in the club, whatever. And this one particular night, we was at a house party, big fight break out. You hear the pop, pop, pop. Our partner AK got shot in his back. He was paralyzed. I think this happened when I was 17 or 18. He was paralyzed all the way up until he just recently passed away. So he was like 35 years old, he was paralyzed. So that kind of made me look at what I was listening to a little different, because you gotta really know that it's real stuff that could happen behind what somebody's saying in their lyrics.
So yeah, we grew up with stuff like Master P and TRU and the Hot Boys. Yeah, we was old, yeah. Yeah, not that too. Hey bro, you gonna chill out, man. I'm gonna see you outside, sir. Now, but no, real talk, it would get us crunk and we would get into fights in the club. I think the difference is, like you said earlier, is knowing what you're consuming. So for example, how many of y'all know why, for example, 400 years ago, pirates, when they were on their ships, they would eat below the deck at night. How many of y'all know why they did that? Okay, so I hear some answers. So the reason why they would eat below deck at night is because on those ships, rats were on those ships. And the rats would eat the food. And rather than be grossed out by seeing little nibbles in your bread or in your meat, they would wait until it was dark and they would go underneath the ship to eat so they couldn't see what was already eating their food. So that's the parallel to what's happening when y'all listen to music right now. A lot of y'all listen to music and y'all don't even know what they're saying. Y'all are bouncing because it's a bop. But if you really pay attention to what they're saying, you might change your perception of how you listen to that song. So I'm not saying stop listening to what you listen to right now, because when we were kids, we would roll our eyes when adults used to talk about what we listened to. All I'm challenging you all to do is pay attention to what the words are being said, what's the imagery, what's the metaphors, what are the similes that are being used to convey a point, and make sure that you know what it is that you're eating.
To piggyback off of what he said, what's your favorite artist? Somebody give me one. The one thing that I want you to do is, if you are having fun listening to this stuff, have your fun, but understand that there is something after the music, right? So we talk about influence and we talk about people swaying this way or that way as it relates to the music. Just understand that there is life after that song and you'll be all right. What happens is so many people hear the music and then they tend to try to live it out. Have your fun, turn up and all that stuff, but understand that there's more to it and you'll be all right. But I don't ever want to tell you not to listen to some or all that stuff, because at the end of the day, have your fun, bro. We did. But I will say, to piggyback off one thing, I think we influenced the music more back in the day than anything, right? Like now it's a matter of the music is trying to influence the people, but back then with the crunk and all that stuff, I think we kind of influenced that. So, yeah.
All right, we got a few more questions. I know it's almost time to leave, but I do have a question for the classes. Did you bring all your stuff, or do you need to go back to the room? About everything? Hey, raise your hand if you need to go back. Okay. All right, we're going to ask a few more questions, and then we'll kind of go from there and maybe give you an opportunity to go and ask, go and get your bags. All right. One of the main questions that I did want to make sure I asked was the question about adulting. Now, we did talk about being adults and the fact that in life we typically get more years as adults than we do as children. There's certain things that we probably don't think about when we're in high school. So my question is, what part of adulting did you not consider when you were in school? What part? All right, for me, it would have probably been like the taxes and, you know, all of that different stuff, a lot of financial stuff, kids, how much kids cost. You know, that was one that I probably didn't think about, you know. So my question to our panelists is, you know, what part of adulting did you not consider when you were in high school?
I'm gonna start this one out. All right. Really just, the price is going up on everything, for real. But I would say credit. I would say that's one of the, I played with credit for a long time. As soon as y'all get out of high school, y'all gonna start getting them credit card offers. Don't take them. I'm telling you right now, don't take them. Because it'll mess you up for the long run. But besides that, that's the main thing for me.
So credit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the same thing, credit and paying your bills on time and stuff like that, man. Like, you can build so much financial literacy or leverage just by paying your bills on time. So that's the thing I would say. I ain't know.
Outside of credit and, you know, paying your bills, man, look, it's a marathon, not a race. I done seen, y'all see these little young, I was about to say the N-word, but y'all see these little young dudes look like they they 19, pushing back up on y'all like they got some motion. Bro, y'all be 23, they be burnt out, don't got nothing. So when y'all do come up on something, y'all get y'all little checks. When y'all go, what's the little checks they give when they go to college first? Yeah, look, man, it's a marathon, not a race. You don't gotta look like something that you don't have. I'm telling you, stack, save your stuff. Take time, even as an adult. Like when I was young, I got $2,000. Oh, that's $1,500. Say less. Already, I got $500 to go wear what I'm about to wear and spend that. You know what I'm saying? You're not thinking. So it's like we all have done that. I feel like get little pieces here and there. We all like nice stuff, but you just don't got to keep up with the Joneses. That's the one thing, and that's never going to change. I'm telling you, when you're 30, 40, it's people out here who just got to have something they see other people with, and they trying to figure out ways to do it, and they're not gonna take care of what needs to be taken care of. It's all about balance in life, man. We all wanna, you know, acquire things, but Go at your own pace, y'all. Young, y'all got time. Just because you feel like something ain't happening right now, that don't mean anything. Even when you 23, I be talking to 24-year-olds and they beating themselves up because they like, oh, I'm just not where I thought I was gonna be in life. I'm like, bro, listen, 24 is young, that's nothing. Like, take your time, don't panic about certain things, and just handle your business. Don't beat yourself up and don't be trying to catch up with these dudes who look like they doing something right now. Cause give it about 10 years, they're gonna be asking you for a whole bunch of something you can't give them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm
gonna say, I'll go back to what I said earlier about decision making. We get grown. When you get grown, you do what you want to do, right? You know what I mean? Y'all can't wait y'all get grown, be a do what y'all want to do. Go where y'all want to go out all night, but you still gotta be smart how you moving and moving around. And it's all about decision making at the end of the day, because you make the wrong decision. It takes 5 seconds to make a decision. It's not taking the rest of your life, you gotta. You know what I mean? So this makes you be wise in decisions you make as you get older, as far as who you hanging around, what you doing in life, and just the places you be. You know what I mean?
I wasn't prepared for nothing. Everything from the bills, from the children, taking care of them, from getting health insurance, from grocery shopping, buying clothes, changing diapers, having to be in the emergency room at 2 o'clock in the morning. You got to be to work at 5. I mean, everything. I was not prepared for nothing.
Enjoy it. All right, our last question is gonna focus on school safety. I know I talk to my students a lot about the purpose of school. This is a place of business, all right? And we try to enforce that or reiterate that to our kids. This is not a place where we're supposed to have drama every day.
Excuse me, one
Sir?
second. I had something I wanted to say about the last
I
question.
apologize.
No, I just wanted to just...
I know we're just pressed for time. I'm sorry I was moving fast, but please.
I'm gonna be quick, I promise.
No, you're fine, please.
I'm sure for a lot of the other brothers that are on this panel, one thing I want to say that I wasn't prepared for, and that I really want the next group of young men to be prepared for, is parenthood. And the reason I say that is because a lot of us grew up without our dads in the home, and a lot of us can talk about how that affected us as young men. A lot of us either became very angry as teenagers, and we channeled it. So we channeled it in sports, or we channeled it in our friend groups, or we channeled it in music. And then other people channeled it in ways where they can't easily recover from, like crime. And it doesn't mean that they aren't worthy of recovering from that, because they should. The reason I bring these things up is because just about every male in this room has a pressure amongst themselves to have sex with women. And let's be real, a lot of y'all aren't prepared for the responsibilities of being fathers. And you know individually what that feels like for your fathers not to be involved in your lives. And the very least that you can do is not visit it on your own children. Period. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Y'all good? All right, this is the last question. Again, and I apologize again, because I feel like that was very necessary. That was something that they needed to hear for sure. But we're gonna go ahead and close out with the school safety piece. School safety is something that we try to really have here as a faculty and staff, because we do feel like this is a place of business. This is a place where we should all be sharpening our sword, our mental sword. We should be getting smarter here. We should be getting better here. Sometimes that doesn't always happen, okay? Sometimes we have environments here that are not conducive to learning as a result of maybe some prior issues that we bring from out of school, and we manifest them here. My question to you guys was, when you were here at Stone Mountain, did you feel safe at school? Did you ever worry about anything, did you ever feel in danger coming to school? All right, anybody?
Nah, I ain't feel like nothing really. I felt like it was a safe zone. Cause we ran it. So if we run the school, we control it though. so we didn't really have too many issues. Like if we seen bullying, dang, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us, I ain't played them type of game. So if you're a bully, you gotta see me. So that's how I was.
So you felt safe?
Yeah, it was pretty, like, well, I'm gonna let Domo take the mic because he have a face, but I ain't gonna lie, here it was always a safe place, man, you know. Honestly, I never felt like, damn, I gotta go here, I don't know what's gonna happen. I never felt like that.
I felt safe at times and I felt unsafe at times. I may say that because the crowds when I was in high school, the crowds I hung around. So I mainly knew about stuff that was going on that teasing us didn't know what's going on. I know brother got arguing on Central last night. Well, it might go down to school tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? You know, Charlotte be having straps on them. You know, so sometimes I didn't feel safe, and sometimes I did feel safe because I was ahead of the curve on a lot of the violence that may happen in school. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't no snitch, so I ain't telling nobody, you know what I'm saying? But I just knew what was going on, so I tried to stay out. I might not go to school tomorrow, Mom. Why not, man? I might not go to school tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It might go down, you know, so. But, you know, safety is so, I say this, y'all keep yourself safe. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's a learning environment, man. Look, people get hurt easily, and you go to prison at a young age. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? Don't think it's sweet. You know what I mean? So keep yourself safe and think about your environment, think about your friends' lives and everybody's around you, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a learning environment, man. Learn something, take some out of it, man, live your life, man.
I'll say that it's truly a different era because when Columbine happened, I was in college. And it was just amazing to me and everybody else because nobody ever thought that somebody coming to school with like an AR just shooting up people in the school was even a possibility. So it's like now we have an entire generation of kids who like do practice drills for active shooters and stuff. Like that wasn't even, that didn't even exist when I was in school. Like that didn't even come into anybody's mind. That was as crazy as a velociraptor coming and eating kids in school. Like it just didn't happen. Now y'all gotta be faced with something that's completely different that y'all don't deserve, but y'all still have to deal with that. Y'all still have to be faced with and challenged with identifying students or kids who make these kind of threats and telling other adults to prevent this kind of mass tragedy from happening. I hate it for y'all, but that's just the kind of world that we live in because the adults who are supposed to be protecting y'all aren't doing it. So I'm just sorry that y'all got to deal with that.
I really just became everybody's friend because you never know what everybody going through. So the person that people used to be picking on, you would think that they about to go do something, they my friends. I'm gonna make sure they my friends. So if they do want to act the fool, you my friend. All right.
So they can tell you when you're coming in. Hey, bro, you want to sit this one out?
All right, we do got a few more minutes, and what I wanted to do is kind of get in the crowd. I can't pick everybody, but if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll try to get it directed to the people on stage that we want to ask. All right, so he doesn't. Anybody? Okay, nobody over here? All right, I got one over here. We got one, okay. We got one and then I'm gonna come over there in a second. All right.
All right, so the question is for Meezy. Because like I see you at like Stonewall and stuff like that sometimes. Like, when did I start going to Stonewall?
You talking about the actual mountain?
Yeah.
When I used to climb it?
Yeah, when we used to.
Why?
When you going up there, man?
I had my little campaign going for a minute. Yeah, I used to climb the mountain. I used to see some of the students and stuff. So I used to climb it like 3 times a day. I would climb it one time. Me and my boy would try to run up it. Then we'll go down and meet some of the students. Then we'll go up with them. You know, some of the vibes. We used to bring the vibes out there with BBLs. Go down, get something to eat. get some wheels, go right back up. But I mean, you can help me, you can motivate me. I was just talking to Ted, I gotta get back right. So I mean, I don't know, we figure it out. We have a day, we can all go up there, man. Alumni, what y'all down to climb the mountain? I'll bring the food on me, everybody, food on me, healthy food. We can do a Ted gonna help sponsor it too. Yeah, we can do smoothies or something. But yeah, we gonna do that.
All right, we got 2 more questions.
I got a question. I make music. Can I lock in with y'all?
Hey, we gotta see your progress report
Hey,
first.
you gotta take, hey man, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, man. Good question.
All right, what's your question?
So to the person who said that they know how to read, so do you think that education is important for this?
Yes, it is. It's definitely important.
Guys.
The way I got around it, though, I just had to. It helped my common sense. I just started thinking a little more to get around it. But as I got to college, and I knew that I wanted to be successful, I knew that I had to get real with it. But when I really started learning how to read and write, it's really like when we started texting. When texting came around, that's when I learned how to read and write. Because you can't talk to no girl. You can't go back and forth. I'm trying to do a message on my phone, but she won't let her text.
All right, anybody else? All right, hold on.
So when you were going here, did you have classes that matched what you wanted to do? And if they didn't, how did you get around that?
I got a quick answer to that. So, in a lot of ways, let's get the elephant out of the room, right? In the sense that nobody is going to use the Pythagorean theorem in real life. Nobody. Ain't nobody gonna ask you for the slope of a line when you're 30 years old. So whoever your algebra teacher is, tell them I told you. That crap don't matter. However,
Hey, he said however though, all right, so listen up.
However, if you are going to be in a technical role as an engineer, you will need to know how parabolas work. So that's the caveat. However, you're going to still know how, you're still going to need to know how to read and to write. You're still going to need to know how to communicate effectively. Because no matter what your job is, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or if you're a CEO of a company, you're going to have to communicate with other people. You're going to have to work with other people. You're going to have to be able to have conflict resolution skills. And all that stuff, you're learning every day here. So everything you're doing today affects the way that you're going to live as an adult.
Okay, looking at the time, we got 3:10. So let's give them a warm welcome. Thank you. Round of applause. Okay, thank you. Thank y'all for coming out so much. We appreciate it, and we look forward to working with y'all some more things in the future.